All right. Welcome, ladies, to Integrated Vinyasa. I'm Sandra Fung. I know those of you who are joining me live know me. I've had a lot of people jumping on later for recordings. Couple housekeeping things. I may jump up to occasionally walk over to my iPad, make sure everything's still working, because I have no way to know if the internet disconnects or anything like that. So if you see me get off my mat to do that, it doesn't mean you obviously need to follow that. Just stay in whatever pose we're in. This is a donation-based class, but certainly not required. I know a lot of us are hurting right now financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So if you have the ability to make a donation, it goes to both help support myself and my family and the studio I teach at, which had to physically close their doors for now. So I'm taking part of the donations and sending it to the studio owners. So I just like to be really upfront with people about what that's for. I will start tonight's class with a reading like I normally do in the studio. And I don't know about you guys, but last week I felt like I was really struggling. Like I was swimming upstream, like the salmon getting ready to spawn. And I was just resisting everything that was happening so much. Like when I found out I was benched for my job, I was just like, I have to work. And I started racking my brain about what can I do. And I never, until this week, came to a place of acceptance of like what we're all going through in some capacity. So I really liked that image of the salmon swimming upstream. And just this week, I had that thought of like, what if we turn around and like go with the water, like in our minds, right? There's nothing that any of us, I think, are physically doing to resist what's happening, but I think it's a mental shift of accepting that this is our current reality. We're all stuck at home with good reason, but it doesn't mean it's not hard, challenging, suffocating, scary, anxiety provoking, any of those things that I know a lot of us are just dealing with a lot of uncomfortable feelings right now. So I wanted to share this quote with you that I shared with a couple friends who are healthcare workers, nurses I work with who are struggling with like, how are we gonna get through this? Like, how do I go to work every day and not like fall apart? So it's a quote from someone named Haruki Murakami. And the quote is this: and once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through. You won't, or how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain: when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. And that's what this storm is all about. And when I think about, like, why do people do yoga? Most of us come to our mat because we're seeking transformation of some sort. So that could be physical transformation, that could be emotional, spiritual, any of those things. And so I think right now it's a matter of staying open to being transformed, to coming out the other side different than we walked in to the storm in. And I think that that's been the hardest part for me, is that sense of wanting to just like shut down and retreat inward and just stop everything. You know, it would be so easy for me to have just said like, oh, well, the yoga studio is closed, I guess I'm not teaching yoga. And it's taken a lot to dig deep, to figure out the technology, to set up a space in my home, in my basement, and to find the resilience to take action even when we want to just curl up and hide away. So I hope that this practice helps bring you a sense of openness and resilience. And so the class that I titled is called Just Keep Swimming, like Dory from Finding Nemo. And in the chat box is a link for the playlist on Spotify. So if you'd like to put on music that I had designed for this class, You can go ahead and grab that link, and then I'll tell you when we'll transition to our backs here in just a second, and you can hit play. So let's do that. I'll put my step away. I want you to come down to your back to constructive rest to start. So knees bent. Walk your feet out wide to the edge of the mat and let your knees knock together. Hands can come down by your side, palms facing up. Finding length through the back of your neck. And just as a symbolic transition to this time together on our mats, let's all together take a deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh out. Let's do that again. Inhale. And let it go. One more just like that. And exhale. Just return to normal breathing now. Just taking a moment to do a quick body scan from the top of your head, down your neck, to your shoulders, to your back and hips, your feet and arms. Just noticing where in your body are you holding tension. For me, I feel it very much in my chest and my stomach. So as we do breath with awareness tonight, as you're breathing, bring awareness to the part of your body that you carry your tension and just allow it to relax. So just soften a little bit more. And then turn your awareness to your breath, the physical sensation on an inhale of the external that surrounds you becoming the internal inside of you. And with each exhale, noticing that warm air becoming the external. Trying to find a sense of ease with your breath. Just allowing one breath to easily flow into the next. Releasing that tendency to want to hold your breath in your chest after each inhale. But rather trusting that you can take the next breath right away. There's nothing to hold on to. If you have your eyes closed, go ahead and softly blink them open. I want you to keep your feet out wide to the edges of your mat, but keep your knees apart. And I didn't tell you, but if you want to go ahead and start the music, this would be a great time to do that, maybe even skipping to the second track at this point. From here, we're going to just do a simple windshield wiper flow. So together, inhale. On an exhale, dropping your knees to the right. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. Feeling an opening on the front of the left hip. Inhale back to center. Exhale, drop your knees to the left. And now to center. One more time to the right. And back to center on an inhale. Exhale, opening to the left. Inhale back to center. And then begin to walk your feet in towards your glutes. And feet are about hips width distance apart. Hands can come down to your side to start with palms facing down. We're going to be doing a simple bridge flow, first with our hips, and then we'll add in our arms after a few rounds. So on an inhale, press down through your feet, lift your hips up, squeezing your glutes. On an exhale, slowly lower down, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, lift up. Feeling an opening on the front of your hips. Exhale, lower down. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, bridging up, pressing through your feet. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Squeezing your glutes and your quads. Exhale, slowly lower down. This time, we're going to sweep arms up overhead. So inhale, bridge your hips up, arms come up overhead at the same time as you lift your hips. Exhale, lower down. And I want you to work with this movement with your breath so that your arms and hips are moving together with breath. Meaning your arms aren't reaching the ground behind you before your hips are extended to their end range. And your hips are not coming down to the ground faster than your hands can reach it when you lower. So continue this movement on your own for a few more rounds. Just noticing how when our mind begins to focus on connecting breath with movement, how hard it is for us to think about all those other things that we worry about all day long. And this is the moment where we start to let go. Let's do one more round. This time, stay in the bridge when you get up to the top. Exhale, hands come down. Press palms down into the ground, lift higher. We'll hold it for 3 breaths. Squeezing your glutes. Feeling that fire beginning to burn. And on your third exhale, slowly coming down. Once you get there, I invite you to hug your knees into your chest. And knees can come together if you like, and wrap your arms around, or just pull them wide towards your armpits. And you can gently rock side to side. Into Apanasana is the name of this posture. Feeling that downward energy. That's kind of what makes us feel grounded when we do yoga. And if it feels okay on your back, you can begin to rock and roll up. And hands can come behind the thighs to do that, or on top of the shins. And just roll the right amount of times for you. When you get to the top, you're going to cross your ankles, shift your weight forward to your hands and knees, and then find the middle of your mat in tabletop. So we're on hands and knees. Hands are below the shoulders, knees under your hips. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Actually, I'm going to turn around here. And we're going to find a simple cat-cow flow. So today we're going to be doing a lot of spinal mobility. I know a lot of us are sitting a lot more than we might normally do. So we're going to be moving our spine a lot in this practice. So on an inhale, I want you to allow your belly button to fall towards the earth. Look up. Draw your hands towards you on an inhale. Exhale, press your hands down and away from you. Round your spine. Tuck your chin to your chest. Cat pose. Inhale, pull your chest forward, drawing the backs of your hands towards you. To cow pose. Exhale, rounding your spine. Spinal flexion to cat. And just keep going with that movement with your breath. Inhaling as you come into cow pose. And exhaling as you come into cat. Really allowing your spine to begin to open up. In flexion and extension. And when you feel ready, you can begin to move more freely with breath. So moving your rib cage side to side, some lateral spinal flexion here. And you can even begin to draw circles with your tailbone as you move your spine in that flexion and extension pattern. And I know the first time I did this in a yoga class, I felt really silly. So if you're not used to doing intuitive movement that feels good to your body, you might feel silly. No one can see you. You're in your own home. Your video's off. So just really close your eyes and allow yourself to listen to whatever your body needs right now. And then we'll meet back in a neutral spine for just a moment. And then you're going to sit back on your heels to find a seat. There was one hip stretch I forgot I wanted to do before we did cat-cow, so we're going to go out of order here. What I want you to do is find a seat, and then we're going to do a hip stretch called 90-90. And this is something you may have seen at your gym, you may have done with a physical therapist, but it's a really nice grounding hip opener. So I want you to bring your legs to your left side. So you're kind of seated primarily on your right glute. You're going to have your right knee in front of your right hip and your right ankle in line with your right knee. So first we want to orient the front leg. Then you can look at your left leg. You want your knee in line with your hip. So straight line. So if I put my arm out to the side, it would have a nice line for my knee and my hip. And then both knees are bent. Your left ankle's in line with your left knee. So from here, you're going to take your right hand on your right side, press down through your fingertips to find length through your spine. So one thing that people tend to do in this posture is they kind of lean back so they're cheating. I want you to find length, so this is an active posture. So right fingertips are down. And on your next exhale, and this might be the fullest expression of this posture, and that is fine. If you have some range of motion available to you, then you can begin to walk your hands forward over your right leg. Maybe even coming down to your forearms. Know that deeper is not always better. Sometimes that actually means more prone to injury. So if you get to here and that's it, stay right there. That's your edge. One of our teachers and yoga teacher training like to say, which I really love, is your nervous system knows when to stop. And that's when you feel your body kind of tense up and it's like, oh, that's it. So find that edge and stay there. And then I want you to breathe. If leaning forward feels like too much, that you need something else, come over to the right just a little bit. It's not going to be quite as deep on the back of the right hip as if you're leaning directly in front. So you can try that and see how that feels for you. Kind of a nice middle option for this pose. In these stretching type of postures, I want you to pay attention particularly to your face and your jaw. Because whenever I experience discomfort in a deep stretch, I notice I clench my jaw, or you may furrow your eyebrows, or even tensing your shoulders up here. So just trying to allow all the things, all the body parts that are unrelated to what we're doing to relax. And then on an inhale, whatever version you're in, I want you to begin to slowly press up to seated. You can lean back here. I want you to bring both legs in front of you for just a moment into long sitting or staff pose. Just shake them out. And just a fun thing for you to try at home is a nice hip mobility exercise. It's kind of hard for me to show here, but transitioning from one side to the other without using your hands is a really nice way to work on hip mobility. If you're very tight there, that's a nice range of motion exercise. For today though, go ahead and swing your legs over to your right side for the same stretch. Same 90-90. Again, take a moment to line everything up. Left knee is in front of left hip. Left ankle is in line with the left knee. I'm bringing my left fingertips down to find length through my spine. Reaching my right arm out, I can see that my knee is in line with my hip. And then just bringing the ankle in line with the knee. Once you're there, I want you to find length through your spine by pressing down through your left fingertips. Notice if this is it and just stay right here. Again, option, always on an exhale, if possible, coming down into a deeper version of this pose. Maybe coming down to your forearms. So it should be a similar sensation on the back of the left hip as like pigeon pose, reclined pigeon, or figure four stretch if you've ever heard that. And then just returning your awareness to your breath. Again, if you're leaning forward and it feels like just a bit too much, walk your hands out a little bit more to your left side, so your upper body's diagonal instead of coming forward over the left leg. Again, just allowing your jaw, your eyes, your eyebrows to soften. Another option, if you're very flexible, would be to even try to bring your head down to a prop, a block, a pillow. That's not the best expression for me, so I'm not going to demonstrate more than that. But option to always come down even deeper if you need that. Couple more deep breaths. And then on an inhale, begin to press up slowly, walking your fingers towards you. Again, bringing your legs out in front of you and just shaking them out. Deep hip opener. Just give yourself a minute. And then we'll come back to tabletop. So hands are under your shoulders to start. Just to find the middle of your mat, knees under your hips. Then walk your hands forward about 1 palm width. Keep your knees bent to start. Press down through your hands and send your hips up and back to your first downward dog. From here, you're going to just pedal your feet, so bending one knee and then the other, allowing this to be really dynamic. Option to move your hips side to side. I want you to think about finding length through your spine by pressing down through all 10 fingers before you worry about straightening your legs. So really lengthening through your spine, opening your shoulders, and then beginning to work your legs towards straight. Making sure you're not holding your breath. And then all together, on an inhale, sweep your right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, step all the way through to your right thumb. If that feels too hard and your foot only comes to here, literally grab your ankle, pull it through. So we're in lunge. Inhale, round your spine. Draw energy upward, just like cat. Exhale, sink in, look forward, just like cow. Again, inhale, round. Tuck your chin to your chest. Exhale, right shin forward, left heel back. Look up. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Sinking in, opening that left hip. On an inhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Exhale to tabletop. So this is where we would have normally done our push-up. Today we're doing what's called a simple connecting vinyasa or prenatal. So this works if someone's expecting. Obviously they can't lower down to the ground. So what we're going to do here, instead of our cobra and then pushing up to downward dog, is we're going to inhale to cow. Exhale, press your hands away from you to cat. Inhale to cow, looking forward. And then tuck your toes, exhale back to downward dog. So that's our vinyasa for tonight, our connection between the left and the right. Inhale, sweep your left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step all the way through to the left thumb to lunge. Inhale, round your spine, draw energy upward. Exhale, left shin forward, right heel back. Look up. Inhale. Exhale, sink in. So this is lunge pulse. One more time. Inhale, just like cat. Exhale, sink in like cow. Plant your hands. Inhale and step back to plank. Exhale to tabletop. Inhale to cow. Exhale, round your spine to cat. Inhale to cow. A sense of opening across your chest. Tuck your toes. Exhale to downward dog. On an inhale, sweep your right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step through to that right thumb again. Take a moment to make sure your stance feels like it's not too long. Ground down through both feet. Inhale, arms come up, rise to crescent. Exhale, sweep your arms behind you to find a clasp. Inhale, interlace your fingers. Exhale, elbows straight, hands draw down towards the earth. Inhale, back off, allowing the back knee to bend slightly. Exhale, straighten the back leg, draw hands down, elbows straight. Inhale, back off. Exhale, expand. One more time. Inhale, relax. Exhale, expand. Release your clasp. Inhale, arms up to crescent. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, knees down to tabletop. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow, looking forward. Tuck your toes. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog. On an inhale, sweep your left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step through to your left thumb. Again, take a moment, make sure your stance feels strong. Root down through your feet. Inhale, rise to crescent. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other to keep your balance. Exhale, arms come behind, hands come behind you. Inhale, find a clasp. Exhale, drop hands down, elbows straight. Inhale, back off, allow your back knee to bend a little. Exhale, expand. Inhale, back off. Exhale, drop down, elbow straight. One more time. Inhale, back off. Exhale, extend your shoulders and elbows. Release your clasp. Inhale, arms rise up to crescent. Exhale, hands down to frame your left foot. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale to tabletop. Inhale, cow pose. Allow your belly button to fall to the earth. Exhale to cat, excuse me. Inhale to cow, looking forward. Tuck your toes, send your hips up and back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step through to the right thumb. Take a moment, ground down through your feet. Inhale, rise to crescent once more. Exhale, elbows down like cactus arms. Inhale, arms back up overhead. Exhale, sink in, opening that left hip. Draw elbows down. Inhale, rise up, hands overhead. Exhale, sink in. Inhale, arms up. This time, exhale, hands come down to the mat to frame your right foot. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale to tabletop. Cat-cow flow. Beginning with cow, inhale. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Tuck your toes. Exhale, downward dog. Last time. Inhale, sweep the left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step through to the left thumb. Ground down through your feet. Make sure your stance feels strong and steady. Inhale, rise to crescent. Exhale, cactus arms. Pull your elbows down, open your chest. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink in, opening the right hip, elbows draw down. Inhale, rise up. Last time. Exhale, expanding across your chest. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands come down to frame your left foot. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale to tabletop. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Pressing your hands away from you. Inhale to cow. This time, send your hips back to child's pose. So if you'd like to take a moment to open your knees wide to the edge of your mat, and then sink your hips back over your feet. Let your hands come forward. Forehead can come down. 5 full cycles of breath here. And even though we weren't doing any chaturangas or push-ups, I want you to take a moment to notice that we were still building plenty of heat in our body. When you've completed your 5 rounds of breath here in child's pose, I want you to then walk your hands over to the right side to side child's pose. So feeling an opening across the left side body. Forehead can rest down on the ground. And then walk your fingertips through center over to the left side. Allow your forehead to come down to the ground. The further you walk your right fingertips away from you, the more intense the stretch on the right side body. And begin to walk your hands back to center. Walk your hands in closer to you. And then shift your weight back up to hands and knees to tabletop. We're do just a little bit of core work before we move into our standing postures this evening. And so today we're going to just be doing a few crunches and spinal balance. So I want you to find your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Toes are probably going to want to be tucked for this for more stability, but you can always press down through the tops of your feet if that feels better. So feel free to explore that. So together, I want you to reach your right arm forward. Send your left heel back. Now you keep your arm where it is. I'm going to touch my belly to show you. When I did that, I could feel my belly start to sink in. So I want you to draw your belly button up in towards your spine or pubic bone towards your navel, whichever makes more sense to you. From here, inhale and lengthen through your fingertips and your left heel. Exhale, pull your right elbow to left knee, center. Inhale, extend through right arm, left leg. Exhale, crunch in towards center. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw in. 2 more. Inhale, expand. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale back out. Left knee comes down, right hand comes down. Go ahead and sit back over your heels for just a moment. Roll that left wrist out. You can do both. But whenever you're doing any type of weight bearing through the wrists, it's always nice to just take a moment to come out of it. Roll your wrists out. It's not a very big joint. Another option is to flex your wrist so that the back of your hand is on your mat as a nice little counter pose. And when you feel ready, we'll meet back in tabletop on hands and knees to do the other side. So first, bring your awareness to your core. Draw that belly button in towards your spine or pubic bone towards your navel. Reach your left arm forward. Send your right heel back. Check and make sure your core is still engaged. Inhale to find length here, pressing down through your right arm, right hand. Exhale, left elbow to right knee. Inhale, open. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, open. Exhale to center. Inhale. Exhale. Squeezing your core. Let's do two more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Extend one more time just to come out of this. Right knee down, left hand down. Sit back over your heels. Again, finding the counter pose for that right wrist that feels good for you. Either rolling them out or flexing the wrist so that the back of the hand is on the mat. And then if you move your weight, that will change the way this feels. So shifting forward and backward. Beautiful. We're going to meet back in downward facing dog. Grab a drink if you'd like it. For those of you who aren't from here, I have to drink a lot when I teach because I'm coming at you from over 10,000 feet. So I got out of breath walking up my stairs today, so forgive me for that. So let's meet back in downward facing dog for some of our standing postures today. And actually, before we go there, if you have a blanket and you know that you have tender knees, or like me, I've had 2 knee surgeries, so I often like to use a blanket to pad my knees. We will be in low lunge with one of our knees down for this series. So go ahead and put that down if you would like that padding. Other option, if you just have a yoga mat, is to just fold it over to double your mat once we get there. So send hips up and back to downward dog. And actually, I'm going to turn around for this first series so that you guys can hear me project my voice. And if you have some blocks, you're welcome to have those ready at the front of your mat. You can also use cans of beans, blankets that are stacked up, pillows. But those are nice to have in case you'd like them. So, from downward dog, inhale, sweep the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step through to the right thumb. We're in lunge. Drop your left knee down, so we're in low lunge. From here, you're going to keep your left fingertips down. Option to use a block if you would like that. Inhale, sweep right arm up and open. Low lunge with easy twist. Now, what I want you to be careful of here is that you don't shift your hips back so that your hips are over your left knee. I want your weight shifted forward so you feel a sense of opening in the left hip. So really pushing your right shin and knee forward to develop a sense of opening in the left hip. On an inhale, reach through the right fingertips. Exhale, sweep right arm under your right thigh. Inhale, sweep open, finding a twist. Exhale, wrap your right arm under your right thigh. One more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, wrap. Inhale, open. Exhale, right hand comes down to the mat. From here, I want you to press down through both fingertips. Make sure your weight is forward so that left hip is open. Push down through the top of the left foot and ground down through the right foot. Inhale, low lunge with shoulder flexion. And stay here for just 2 or 3 breaths. And then inhale, find length through your fingertips. Exhale, hands through heart center. Find the twist, left elbow to your right knee. Inhale, press your hands together. Find length through your spine. Exhale, press that left elbow into your right knee to deepen the twist. For a revolved low lunge. Again, this is all that spinal mobility I talked about. Left elbow is pressing into the right knee is pressing back into the elbow to create stability. Pressing down actively through the top of the left foot. And then on an inhale, coming back out of the twist, hands to heart center. Exhale, fingertips down. If you have a block, this would be a great time to use it. And if not, you can use pillows, blankets, but we're gonna transition into lizard pose. So I'm gonna use my blocks, but whatever you have works. This is a deep hip opener. So we're in low lunge, and essentially we're trying to come down to our forearms if possible. If that is too much, you can absolutely stay on your hands on the inside of your right foot. But what I really want, again, is that forward motion to open, or not forward motion, but that forward position to keep the left hip as open as possible. If you're using a prop or 2, you can always stack 2 blocks if you have them. And from here, try to hug that right knee in towards your right shoulder. So this posture always brings up a lot of resistance for me. This is when I turn into the salmon swimming upstream. Immediately my thoughts are like, how much longer? Because we're kind of at our end range of motion. We're in hip flexion on the right, deep hip flexion, and then deep hip extension on the left. So it's this very intense sensation. And anytime I feel that intensity in my body, my brain wants to back out of it. So if that's you, I invite you to shift your attention to your breath, almost to distract yourself from what you're feeling. And just breathe through this. This is that decision where we can turn around and swim with the stream instead of against it. And when you're ready, if you're using props, begin to push up to your hands. Move the props off your mat to the side. Then you're going to shift your weight back over your left knee to half splits. So you might want to wiggle that right heel forward till you can straighten your right leg. And again, if you want to use props here, that's always nice. So again, this could be cans of soup, this could be textbooks stacked up, whatever you have available. I want you to find length through your spine here. And then on an exhale, hinging from your hips, bending at your elbows to deepen the stretch. So opening the right hamstring. And then you can turn your toes side to side, nice and slow. Like you're flossing your hamstrings. But again, I want to emphasize length through your spine here is more important than like get your knee to your nose, which is something I heard for about 10 years in yoga classes. And I couldn't do it, and I felt like a failure. And also, just functionally, that's only facilitating that texting posture or the sitting on the couch posture that we're all unfortunately becoming too accustomed to right now. So again, if we come to our mat for transformation, we want to do the opposite of what we're normally doing in our life. And then bringing your toes back to neutral, up towards the sky. Begin to draw your right heel in towards you. Re-bend your right knee. Move your props out of the way. Tuck your toes. Lift your left knee. Inhale and step back to plank. Exhale to tabletop. This is our connecting vinyasa to get to the left side. So inhale to cow. Exhale, press your hands away to cow. Inhale to cow. Tuck your toes. Exhale back to downward facing dog. And again, I'm going to turn around so that I'm not talking to the wall. My voice is always projecting towards you. So we're in downward facing dog. Take a moment to pedal your feet out if you'd like. And a nice, sighing, deep breath. Inhale, sweep your left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step through to your left thumb. Lower your right knee down to low lunge. Back toes can be tucked or untucked. You're going to keep the right hand down. Again, option to use a prop if you have one. Left shin forward to open that right hip up. On an inhale, sweep left arm up and open towards the sky. Low lunge with easy twist. Exhale, wrap the left arm under the left thigh. Inhale, open. Exhale, wrap under. One more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, wrapping that left arm. Open one more time. This time, exhale, hands come down to frame the left foot. Press down through the top of the right foot or the right toes. Inhale, rise to low lunge with shoulder flexion. Inhale, find length through your fingertips and spine. Exhale, hands through heart center, finding a twist to your left. So right elbow is on the outside of the left knee, hands pressed together to deepen the twist. The more you actively think about pressing down through both feet, the top of the right foot and through the left foot, the more stable you'll feel here. And anytime you're in a standing posture, this is more kneeling, I guess, but anytime you're in a posture like this and it feels too easy, I invite you to close your eyes. It will add a balance component, and you'll feel little muscles turn on that you didn't feel before. On an inhale, come out of that twist, hands to heart center. Exhale, fingertips down to the ground. Transitioning to lizard pose. So grab your props if you have them. And if not, again, you can just come down to the palms of your hands, shifting your weight forward. This is lizard from low lunge. If you've ever done other yoga classes, know that this is also lizard. This is in high lunge. We're in the more passive version because we're really focusing on opening the right hip into extension. If you've got your props though, go ahead and transition at your pace down to your forearms. And if you're very flexible, you might even be able to come down to your forearms without a prop. And it's totally normal for one side to feel different than the other. And that may change from day to day. That's why your practice will never look the same from one day to the next. Now again, I can feel my left knee wanting to fall open here. Go ahead and squeeze it in towards the left shoulder. Trying to find a sense of stillness. And when you're ready, beginning to press up on your hands on your props and coming off of them to the side. Go ahead and tuck your right toes. Hands frame the left foot. Lift your right knee. Inhale and step back to plank. Exhale, tabletop. Push back to child's pose. And if you're feeling called to bring your hands behind you and knees together, you can take this version as well, or instead. If your hands are in front of you, go ahead and draw your hands under your shoulders and slowly roll up to seated, one vertebrae at a time, head coming up last. And somehow my time management without students directly in front of me is not what it normally is. So we're going to go ahead and transition to our peak pose because it's a restorative posture. I want us to have plenty of time to rest in that posture, as well as get all the kind of yummy, calming stuff at the end of class. So I'm going to show you a couple different versions of our peak pose tonight, which is supported fish. I realize not everyone has blocks at home, so let me go ahead and demonstrate this posture with blocks to start. So if you have blocks, this is the way I would recommend setting them up, is one block long ways that will go on your shoulder blades and not below, not touching your rib cage. So we're going to be laying down on this. And then this block will support the base of my skull, okay? So option to keep the blocks the same height. I personally like the back one up a little bit taller. So if you're using blocks, you're gonna come down to find long sitting, so legs out in front of you. You're gonna need to create some space between you and the blocks. Once I get there, I'll have to adjust. But use your hands to come down and forearms to where I feel the block on my shoulder blades. And then the tall block will support my head. Hands will come down to my side, palms facing up. Legs are extended out in front, just like corpse pose shavasana, where you're allowing your feet to roll out to the side. Okay, that's option one, if you have blocks. I'll demonstrate with blankets next, because that's probably what most of you have at home. So I would fold blankets up to where you're going to have some support through the length of your spine, and this will look a little bit more like a restorative heart pose. So you'll bring the blanket to the base of your spine, basically, or your sacrum, excuse me. Use your hands, again, to lower down. So you're gonna find some spinal extension here, but you're fully supported. This feels really nice with blankets. Again, hands come out to your side, palms turn up. Legs are extended out long, letting your feet roll out to the side. Last option, if you don't have blankets and you have some sort of couch pillows or a bolster, that's what this is. Same thing I just showed you, bringing the bolster to my back, slowly rolling down onto it with control so that my head is completely supported. Know that if you need to stack an extra blanket here to support your cervical spine better, that's completely fine. All together, let's take one deep inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Supported fish. Just allowing ourselves to make that turn and swim downriver with the stream. Our ability to adapt and change is critical right now. And if you look just at this posture alone, look how our body drapes over whatever props you're using. And it's flexible and moldable and changeable and adaptable. And it's supported. I want you to draw your awareness to your forehead and allow it to soften. Your jaw, allowing space between your teeth, letting your jaw unhinge. Maybe even bringing your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Allowing it to settle more towards the back of your throat. Softening the space behind your eyes and your eyelids. Softening the crown of your head. Just simply allowing yourself to be. To be fully supported. To trust that it's safe to relax. To let go of tension in your body. Every exhale, feeling a sense of heaviness in all the parts of your body that are connecting with your prop or props, as well as the ground below you. And just taking a moment of gratitude for this practice, for you choosing to do this practice, to the realization how simple it can be for us to get the support that we need. It might be as simple as laying down on the ground. I want you to begin to bend your knees one at a time. And you're going to sweep one arm overhead. For me, that will be my right arm so that I can roll towards the camera. And I want you to gently roll towards your side, using your forearm for stability to come down off whatever props you're on. If you're on blocks, be extra careful. And then pressing up slowly to a seated position. I want you to move any props you have out of the way. We'll come back to our back. Nice and slowly, with control. Then I want you to take your right leg, your knees are bent, feet are on the floor. I want you to take your right leg, hug your right thigh over your left thigh as tightly as possible. You're going to move your hips to the right a few inches. Arms can come out wide at your sides, or elbows can be bent, cactus arms or goalpost arms. On an exhale, allowing your knees to fall to the left side for a spinal twist. On an inhale, bring them back up to center. Move your hips back to the center of your mat. Uncross your right leg, and then repeat on the left. So hugging the left thigh over the right, knees are bent. Move your hips over to the left side now a few inches. And then on an exhale, allowing both knees to fall to the right. option to look over your opposite shoulder, so your left shoulder. Not necessary though, only if you would like a little more cervical rotation, a bit of a neck stretch. And then inhale, drawing your knees back up to center. Move your hips back to the center of your mat. Uncross your legs. Hug your knees into your chest for just a moment, gently rocking from side to side. Like a massage to your low back after we were just in spinal extension and supported fish or heart pose, depending on what props you were using. And then for an inversion today, we'll come to happy baby. So reaching the soles of your feet up towards the sky, knees are bent out wide, and then reaching for the outsides or insides of your feet, depending on what's more accessible for you. Pulling down with your hands and then pressing back into your hands with the soles of your feet. You'll feel a change in your position of your pelvis when you do that. Little active engagement. And then you can gently rock side to side. Go ahead and release any activation. So more passively and gently rocking. Releasing your feet down to the earth. Using any props you'd like for final Shavasana. So you're going to extend your legs out in front of you. So if you have those blankets or a bolster, you can extend your legs over those props. Hands will come out wide, palms facing up. And just allow your feet to roll open to the side. Spend the next few minutes in stillness and silence. Just allowing yourself to be. And just simply observing whatever comes up for you in this time. Whether that's thoughts, feelings, and just knowing that you can sit with them and they'll pass. Much like standing on a riverbank and watching a log float by. You don't have to jump in, pull the log out, or jump in and go for a ride. You can stand on the bank and simply observe. Begin to deepen your breath. Bringing awareness back to your physical body by wiggling your fingers and toes. On an inhale, sweeping your arms up overhead like a morning stretch. Bending your knees one at a time. If you're using any props under your legs, just placing your feet on the props. On an exhale, rolling to your right side for a moment in the fetal position. Remembering that each day we have the chance to start anew. So if you woke up today in fear, panic, worry, anger, you can always hit the reset button. And that might mean just laying down on the ground to take a few deep breaths and closing your eyes. But that's always available to you. And keeping your eyes closed or your gaze soft, begin to press yourself up to a seated position. Or we'll meet an easy seat with your legs crossed and hands at heart center. I want to thank each of you for being here to practice with me this evening, or if you're watching the recording later, for choosing to take time for yourself during these challenging and crazy times. It's so important that you find ways to ground yourself and calm your nervous system in these times where we're being just overwhelmed with information and feelings and just so many things to worry about. So truly, thank you for taking this time for yourself, for choosing you in a time where it really matters. I like to end all my classes by saying the following. That's something I learned from one of my teachers. May the efforts of our practice be of benefit to all beings everywhere in some way, shape, or form, especially to those whose lives we directly touch. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, guys.
That was lovely. I appreciate it.